Yo, what's going on everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day and welcome to today's Pokemon GO video. Alright, so today I wanted to talk about something that I've been very concerned with when it comes to Pokemon GO, and that is the buggy nature of this game and how it's been getting worse and worse over time. Every time Niantic releases a new update to Pokemon GO, it just feels like they are also introducing a whole bunch of bugs and glitches, some to the point where players are not able to play Pokemon GO anymore. And I think this is very pressing. I think this is something that Niantic needs to address right away because as of right now with Pokemon GO, the current state of it is dire. There's a lot of players out there who just simply cannot play the game. Regardless if you're into raiding or PvP, I feel like every single player is currently being affected, especially those who like to play PvP because right now, after the biomes were updated, a lot of players are finding that PvP is extremely laggy, there's a lot of freezes and crashes, and in some cases the game is just simply unresponsive. Ultimately what it comes down to is that Pokemon GO is continuously evolving, and I think that's a good thing. Like, there should be visual updates, there should be additional gameplay elements. And I really feel like Niantic is doing a good job with a lot of that stuff. Like, the new biomes were really good. Avatar customization, not so good. But there's still a lot of very positive changes that have been happening to Pokemon GO, at least from a visual standpoint. And I want Niantic to continue doing that stuff because I don't want Pokemon GO to become an outdated game visually. Like, there's plenty of games out there who have not done anything to their visuals over the past several years, and the games look extremely dated and they look extremely ugly. But Pokemon GO is not going that way. Like, I think the current iteration of Pokemon GO looks great. Opening up the game right now and seeing the game map looks phenomenal, and catching Pokemon feels a lot more dynamic and it looks visually appealing. But at the same time, it's not going to run well on older devices. I think someone on Reddit pointed out that you require even more than 4 gigabytes of RAM in order to run Pokemon GO. I think that's crazy considering that a vast majority of devices out there do not have that kind of technical capacity. So yeah, it's really unfortunate. There's constantly additional reports of crashes and freezes every single day. And there's more and more players who just simply cannot play Pokemon GO anymore because the game is just full of bugs and glitches. And a lot of that is a result of Niantic releasing so many new visual updates. Now, I don't want to be negative for the sake of being negative. Let me give you some constructive feedback, Niantic. Like, if it were up to me, I think the best thing you could do is add a low resolution mode. Like, what is that? Well, basically, if you run Pokemon GO on a low-end device, you should still be able to play Pokemon GO just with outdated graphics or lower-end graphics. I think that would be a good fix. If you want to play Pokemon GO optimized, like with the best graphics and the best experience, you will need a high-end device, and not everyone is going to have that. But you should still be able to play Pokemon GO. That's my point. Like, giving players the option to run on a low-res mode, I think is a totally fine way to go about it. And you know, maybe they could do a lot more in terms of game testing. I think that has been one of the weaknesses of Pokemon GO for a very long time, that Niantic kind of relies on field testing, if that makes sense. Like, they kind of hope that things work out, but if things don't work out in the first time zones where the features are being released, like New Zealand and Australia, then they do quick fixes for that. Like, they use players to play test their game, and that's never a healthy thing for any game. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a mobile game, it doesn't matter if it's a console game. You do not want your player base, you do not want your customers to play test your products. You need to have your own internal QA system that's really good, and you need to make sure those QA testers have the best support. I'm very passionate about this because I have a history in the game industry and I started off in QA. And I felt like a good game is always because they have a really good QA system. The better the QA testers, the better the support around those QA testers, you're going to get yourself much better results as a game. There's going to be a lot less bugs, there's going to be a lot less progression stoppers, and of course, the developers are going to have a much better grasp of how their game runs on a lot of different devices. And that's really important right now because Pokemon GO is a mobile game, and if you know anything about mobile game development, the biggest difficulty, the biggest hurdle is of course having the game run properly on so many different devices because Yeah, let's be real. It's going to be much easier to develop on an iPhone, considering that there's only one line of devices, but when it comes to Android, there's so many different phone developers, there's so many different kinds of phones that run Android, so the game is not going to run well on every single device. It's going to be really hard to test that, but the more you invest into testers and the more you invest into dynamic testing, you're going to do a lot better. And I feel like that's something that Niantic is not doing right now. Because from everything that I've seen on Reddit and social media, it seems like Android users are seeing the most of all of the glitches and bugs. And I can totally understand that being the case because I used to be in game development. But at the same time, I think that any developer has the capacity to circumvent a lot of those issues. And the best way they can do that is by having more testers. That's really what it comes down to. As of right now, I just feel like Pokemon Go is extremely buggy. There's just so much lag and hitches, and if you want to go into PvP, you really can't take it that seriously because you're going to lose so many matches due to random hitches and bugs. And yeah, I really feel like if Niantic wants this game to succeed, they need to fix a lot of the technical issues ASAP. I feel like Pokemon Go cannot succeed and they cannot implement new features successfully if they do not fix a lot of the issues that are currently happening right now. And yeah, with future updates, they're going to introduce new bugs. That's just the nature of game development. Like, when you change things, you're gonna add problems. That's how it's always been. But they need to mitigate that a lot better. They need to do a lot more testing. They need to hire more developers if it comes down to it. And they need to make sure that every single update is in a much better state than they're currently being released right now. But yeah, that's just my own thoughts and opinions on this. But I would like to know your thoughts. What are you thinking regarding the state of Pokemon Go right now? Do you feel like from a technical standpoint it's in a very bad place? Or do you feel like maybe the game is not in a bad place and we're just all overthinking it? Let me know those thoughts and let's have a great discussion. But with that said, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end. If you ended up enjoying this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And also I want to give a shout out to all my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the best way you could do so is joining my Patreon. So click on the links in the description below and go and check it out. And if you want to support my channel in a different way, you could do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula, and I'm on the platforms that you see on screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.